Kinsey,
Here.
Logsdon,
Here.
Mossberg,
Here.
Parker,
Here.
Turner.
Here.
We have a quorum, so we'll go on to the next item, approval of minutes of regular meeting held,
August 12th.
okay, August 12th.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from August 12th.
Second.
Motion and second, call the roll.
Mossberg,
Yes.
Kinsey,
Yes.
Parker,
Yep.
Logsdon,
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Next item we'll go to is reports from staff, city council report.
I don't have a whole lot. There is an agenda item on this meeting that will, upon approval, and I assume it will be, but we'll go to city council because it's an expense over $25,000. So you guys will approve it, and then it'll go to city council for approval just because of the size of the purchase of aircraft fuel. I know that they have, city crews have been continuing to work on streets, and we're not completely done working on streets at this point, but it's getting close to the end of the season. The warmer weather we've had this year in September has extended the asphalt season a little bit, which is good because the rainy weather we had early in the summer looked like it was going to significantly reduce what we'd be able to accomplish. They got a lift station, I think it got completely installed on a skyline for sewer lines, or for sanitary sewer system. City council approved a roof at the professional building. Personnel committee met today. This will affect all staff, but when it comes to council, with council approval, it would end up affecting all staff, but we're looking at a couple different options for electronic timekeeping. The idea is to have a better idea, or instead of the manual time entry where maybe someone came in 5 minutes late and maybe they left 5 minutes early, but they turned in a full day's worth of work or whatever. We hope to be able to use this electronic timekeeping system to make sure that we're only paying for the hours that are worked. Should save the city quite a bit of money across all of its departments, and it'll be implemented citywide when it is implemented. A lot of different things to consider with that implementation. So, but the personnel committee talked about that today. Joe Don, is there anything else we need to add?
If you want to say anything about the ordinance committee meeting the other day, last Thursday.
The ordinance committee did meet, and to talk about, I guess mostly the marijuana ordinance.
That was the topic. That was the agenda topic, yes.
And so they recommended some changes to our local ordinances on medical marijuana. And those will be on the next city council meeting agenda, I believe.
That's the plan.
is.
Rick is going through the ordinance now, making the adjustments.
So, basically, I think that the gist of it was some changes in setback distances from different types of zones and properties. And it would be uniform with, my understanding is it would be uniform with other cities that have had their ordinances contested and what was upheld and what was not. I'm happy to answer or try to answer any questions that the commission members might have.
Don't have anything? No, we'll go on to the next item then. Manager's report.
All right, August fuel sales, start off with that. We sold 1,902.5 gallons of 100 low lead at the pump for $6,194.53. I did a 410-gallon truck transfer that month. Did a 1-gallon price change test sample also. So our total At the pump, sales was $6,194.53. Off the 100 low lead truck, moved 341.6 gallons at $1,501.06. So our total 100 low lead sold during the month of August was $7,695.59. The Jet A pump had a 1,425 gallon truck transfer during the month of August. Didn't sell anything off the pump. Jet A truck overwing, 1,600 gallons at $5,440, and then we sold 502 gallons single point, 1,706.80. So our total Jet A sales was 2,102 gallons for $7,146.80. Total fuel sales for August, $14,842.39. Total oil sales was $32.25. Tax on that oil was $2.98, and we did have 6 nights of hangar rental at $15 a night for $90. So our total sales during the month of August is $14,967.62. Questions on the fuel report? Okay, Jake's back in school at Northwestern. This is his senior year there, and he also plays baseball, so his hours are cut way back. He's only working Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for about 4 hours from about 8 till noon. He is going to be available some weekends depending on baseball, which he says runs pretty much all year round. Jamie submitted her resignation a couple of weeks ago, and her last day was the weekend of Labor Day. I gave you guys a copy of those emails. I had Dick Carruthers come out on August 30th, and he rode in the pickup with me down the turf runway. He says the vibropackers will help smooth it out. However, getting into the turf runway thing, it gets back to Angelica and me in contacting Garver, trying to get Garver to move the paperwork over to CEC, and we can't get anywhere with Garver.
Garver didn't have anything to do with the grass strip, so they probably have nothing on it.
But, anyway, like I said on those 2 emails, Toby said that we did find not an airport layout drawing, but I found some paperwork here. Angelica copied that off and forwarded it all to Toby.
Who's Toby?
Toby Baker's the new CEC engineering guy. So
All of that layout drawing was on the drawing for the new runway, and all of the layout stuff for the dirt runway on
and
it.
that's what they're not.
Has he been out there and looked at it?
You don't have a copy of that?
We couldn't find one. We found an old airport layout or
Garver
something.
didn't do that, Myers
Myers Engineering did that, wasn't Garvey.
So,
Then you go to Myers.
Well, I've got to call into Garver right now to help, because what Greg's talking about, what Toby's needing is to get a copy of our latest airport layout design, so he can be getting his stuff ready to go. And we need Garver to send that to him. And if there's anything that Toby needs in addition to that, we'll get. I know Myers has still got all of their stuff, and I don't have any problem getting stuff from them if we need to.
I'm pretty sure the turf runway layout we followed using Myers' drawing when they were under contract to do the new runway.
All the engineering was done on the grass strip at that time through Myers.
Okay.
yeah, that's what Toby thought.
We may have some of those drawings down at City Hall.
There was a big roll of
Yeah,
drawings.
we may have that down. We may have that down at City Hall. I may even actually have some electronic copies of that.
So, yeah, it should, because that's what we followed, because so it was already engineered.
Right.
Yeah.
It was supposed to have been built, well, I'm going to ask, it was supposed to have been built at that time, and for reasons it did not
Yeah.
get accomplished.
Why do we need more engineers? I thought we were gonna save money.
doesn't mean why we need more engineers.
Well, this guy, half this stuff on here is not correct. He hasn't been out here, he doesn't know what's going on. How much are we paying him?
Well, we haven't paid him anything yet, but he's the.
But we will,
but
right?
But he's the new airport engineer. He's the company that we accepted bids on recently.
That's fine, but not for the grass runway. Why are we getting engineering? I thought we were gonna save money. We're doing it in-house ourselves because there had been one there already. Now we're going back to draw one. I mean, we're just starting all over.
That's not,
We dedicated it last summer
that's not how
and
I,
it's still not open. And I would bet that it's not open by next spring. Go ahead.
that's not how I read those emails. I don't think we're looking for any engineering, are we?
No.
But you can,
We're just trying to get all the paperwork submitted, and there's been so
So
many engineers, but
yeah, you should be able to just submit the data to the FAA and they approve it.
We should
Without
have,
having to go through an engineering process. And when I got my runway approved, I just sent them the coordinates and all the data and they put it on there.
okay.
Anyway,
it appears to me we're making a mountain out of a molehill.
yeah. The grass strip I've landed on a couple times, it seemed plenty smooth to me.
But I think it ought to, in my opinion, I think it'd be a good idea to have Crothers go ahead and do the work. If he'll go ahead and get him what he asked for before it dries out.
Yeah. It's 380,000 square feet, so if we do it 200 foot wide, so.
Well, that's, I thought we kinda had all that figured out a few meetings back.
I thought we decided it was smooth enough at the last meeting.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
It's never gonna be like a paved highway out there, no matter what you do. You can go out there and spend tons of money running, rolling it, packing it, whatever, and the grass and the clumps will grow and give it some degree of roughness, and it'll always be that
Well,
way.
it's not gonna be like blacktop,
No,
but it'll be reasonable.
But if for some
Anyway.
reason we needed to smooth it, Crothers would have the capability of doing it.
Yes, he would,
Okay.
so. Okay, so anyway, like I said, we reach out to Garver, we can't seem to get, all these drawings and stuff were before my time, and I just wanna do it the right way. And they said, I called Grayson, and he said you merely just can't go out there and start marking it. We need the coordinates, the headings, all that stuff, and then we have to decide where the cones are gonna go. And he said that's where it gets back to the engineers, so. And all that stuff was before my time, so. But I can't just go out there and lay cones, start laying cones down, is what I'm saying. Because it's gotta be back so far from 1836, it can't butt right up the way I understand it. So, according to that email, it can't butt right up to the 1836. So anyway, this is the 6th or 7th manager's report that I presented.
I have another question for you. It says it's gonna start approximately 290 feet from the west edge of 1836.
Right.
Why?
That's what the OAC says. I mean, that's what they say it's supposed to, due to where it goes across the main runway.
Well, I've been on many airports where the runways cross one another.
Intersect, right.
Intersect and
Yeah.
touch up against one another. So I mean, if that's what they say, so be it, but I don't believe it.
Well, that's what he
Because-
told me.
Go to Enid.
Right.
Land
But
on
how
Enid.
long ago was Enid built?
Well, they've been adding on to it and have put some new stuff down.
Harper's Cross is up there. It actually crosses 1735, but that's what he told me.
Okay.
But I think if we go back and look at the Myers drawing, it does start back from 1836.
Does it?
It does. They didn't butt it up against.
Okay.
But I think we're talking in the blind. I think if we have the
We'll have to
drawing,
look at the,
it answers a lot of questions.
Well,
Probably
anyway, you answered my
engineering.
question, that's what I
but I
wanted.
know it was measured from the edge of the asphalt,
Right.
which isn't any big deal as far as I'm concerned. If we have to make it a little bit shorter, we still have that much length, just the displaced threshold, which is
The other thing,
is there, but you can't officially use it unless it's an emergency type situation. You can use it for a takeoff. But
no, where he says it's gonna run up against the hangar.
I think
And
he's
here it
talking,
says, yeah,
I think he's talking the two hangars clear across the alternate taxiway,
yeah,
the South Share and,
but our runway's not,
right.
where we've got it positioned, it's not lining up to a hangar, where he
It's
says
between
it
the
is.
hangars.
So, I mean, he needs educated, it sounds like.
Like I said, if we find it, I guess if it's on the Myers engineering thing, and we'll go back and look at the Myers engineering.
I can't
plans.
believe this airport doesn't have all that stuff on file. Can't believe it.
So,
Sorry, go ahead.
okay, anyway, this is the 6th or 7th board meeting, that report I've given, and I kind of let Joe Don know when I took this job and some of the board members that I'm not going to do anything that I'm not sure of that could possibly cause a headache with the FAA, the OAC, the OCC, OES, or any of those entities. My name is the one listed as the manager, as on the airport master record, and I want to try to do things the right way. It's come to my attention on a couple of occasions. We've talked about things in here, and then a few days later, some board members come up and kind of I feel like they want me to deviate from what we talk about in here, and that's kind of troubling at times. I'm just trying to do the best job possible. It's like on the turf runway deal. I just can't go out there and start throwing cones down. When all of this happened before my time, I want to make sure I know where that first cone goes and where that last cone ends. And I'm getting conflicting stories on that. So I'm just trying to do the right thing, provide good customer service. I think Alva's real lucky. We've received multiple compliments from transient pilots here just in the few months that I've worked here, that how nice of a facility we have. There's just a lot more to this job than cutting the grass and pumping fuel out here. And it seems like everything's breaking all the time. I know we're not a huge airport, but we're not a real small, hole-in-the-wall airport out in the country somewhere. And like I said, I just want to make sure that I'm doing it right. And that's about all I have to say. So.
okay, questions? No, we'll go on to the next item. Item 5, discussion and action regarding the installation of water lines to individual hangars at the airport.
Okay, I sent you out a drawing that we had prepared as a plan for water lines. As long as the board does not have any issues with this plan, the way we're running the lines, we're gonna start working this way to get these prioritized and run.
So, as I understand this, you're just gonna put in new mains from the highway around the hangar?
Yes.
Where the black lines are?
Yes,
And they're all 6-inch?
yes,
Okay. And then you'll tie on to the if there's already water at that site, you'll tie on to the existing line, or you're running a new line up to the site?
We will tie on, we're going to identify where, if there's, for your building, for example, we will identify where the entry point is, and we will, put the meter and the water line at that entry point.
And, or, see, Myers Engineering, so I'm assuming that that's, with that 6-inch line, they've planned for any potential future growth with the 6-inch line.
We are, we would have to tie on to anything that we've got. There would have to be a plan to tie on to the lines, but we'll have a plan and we will know where the lines are at. That will be part of the city's, mapping plan for water lines and sewer lines, which will allow us to make those tie-ins when appropriate.
And so by doing it with 3 different lines like this, if there's a problem at one of them, the whole airport's not shut down. You
That's
just quickly
correct.
shut down one.
That's correct.
Well,
For example, if you've got a leak at yours that's needed to be shut down, or the lines broke there, we would be able to shut it off at the main, and it would only affect yours and Mr. Baker's hangers for that time frame. The way we've drawn it in here is to make as few bores as we need to make, and handle that as, you know, we're trying not to bore or cut any asphalt out here when we do that. There are going to be a few places where we do have to bore to get through, but we're trying to keep those to a minimum.
You're gonna bore underneath the taxiway, is that what I'm looking at?
If we're having to go underneath the taxiway, we will bore underneath, yes.
Okay. While they're out there, how much trouble would it be to bore underneath that taxiway on the new hangars and relieve that drainage problem we have?
Well, that'll be a separate issue. We'll have to look at that when it comes time to do the bores.
I just wondered if-
who we have to do the bores. The city does not have equipment that would be able to do a bore for a 6-inch line. We'll have to hire that done.
I was just wondering if, you know, while they were out here, if it would be possible to do that and save some money doing that. That's all I have.
I mean, just a question of just how we're gonna, what the permanent fix is gonna be there. If the permanent fix for that new hangar on the south end is to bore through underneath the new runway and put a drain there, then we would look at doing that, but we would, that cost would be, you know, the city won't be able to do that, I'm just saying. Because we don't have the boring equipment to get that underneath there.
I understand that.
Yeah.
My point was just that while they were here doing it anyway,
We can
they could pick up
certainly,
one more and it would probably save us
we
some
can
money.
certainly look at doing
And
that.
that'd be great.
these projects, are they budgeted this year, or are they gonna be a future budget year or a budget amendment?
With this, we're gonna use as much in-house staff, in-house labor as we can. If it is in-house labor, we will do it with maintenance dollars. The dollars for, some of the more expensive stuff, when it gets down to doing those bores, which will be probably the most expensive part of it, we'll probably be looking at some sort of budget amendment to do those. We will be prioritizing the hangars. Probably be, plan on picking up stakes first. And and then prioritize some of these lines where it's only, we're only coming up to pick up a, frost-free hydrant or something like that. Probably won't be a priority of us to get done. Around some of those hangars, all we're doing is picking up a frost-free hydrant.
Will there be a plan to remove the abandoned,
It'll-
lines?
No, the lines will be abandoned in place.
Well, it looks like there's only 2 bores on the, that's, unless I'm looking at it wrong, there'd be one on the south side of Dale's hangar and one on the north side of the round top. Would be the only 2 taxiways that I can think of that it would cross.
Well, but then we're getting down to, what is it, the South Share and, the Kinsey South hangar. We'd have to look and see how that,
Yeah, I guess under the road right there.
how we'd end up getting that one
I
accomplished.
don't know if it'd be far enough east of the ramp area on the south side of the
Yeah.
share hangar.
Right, if that loop in the middle wasn't a loop, it would save boring under a taxiway and a ramp.
And they may have just, I don't know why that loop is there, because it's not needed.
Yeah. You know, if you go
Unless
over-
it is to provide a little bit of redundancy so that all of those hangars are serviced.
The water to, in 18 is at the southeast corner right there, it can stop there, and then the next water would be at there between hangar 5 and 2. And that would save a lot of long bore under a ramp and a taxiway.
help me out, is 2, is that Pappins?
Yeah.
2 is Pappins.
Okay,
Well,
18 is the round top.
at 1.6 water,
Well, there's a process hydrant there.
no, at 1.6 had water inside, but they don't right
Right, but there's a process hydrant in
Okay,
between,
I see what you're saying.
between 6 and 20. That would just save quite a bit of boring, if there's a reason for that, up to the engineer. So that would start this fall, this winter, as you guys have time to.
I would need to sit down with my water crews. We've got 2 great big projects right now, immediately in front of us. We would probably work some of this in as we do those projects and have the time to do it. We've got a water line extension on North 281 that's got to be done before January. And then we've got some water line replacement to do out south of town, about 1.5 miles worth of line.
And I take it the terminal building is using existing line, nothing's going to be changed there.
That's correct.
so is our action to have you bring back a timeframe or
This is the first, you asked me to bring back a plan, this is the first part of the plan that if y'all are okay with this, we'll start nailing down timeframes and priorities.
So do we need a motion that says that we're okay with the action plan?
City Council would probably appreciate that.
Entertain a motion?
now. Make a motion that we accept the water plan as presented.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? If not, call the roll.
Kinsey,
Yes.
Mossberg,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Logston,
Yes.
Parker.
Yes. And I'd say, you know, if when you talk with the departments and there need to be changes, just
Yeah.
come
And
back.
what I expect that we will do
If there
is
is any engineering adjustments. Okay.
we will identify priority users, and priority users would be people that have to their hangar. If it's just running to a hydrant, at this point in time, it probably will not be a priority. And that'll be done as we can get to it.
Okay. We'll move on to the next item, number 6, discussion and action on building security.
Greg, you got that?
Yeah, I got a couple of estimates in, on closing off the office on one. I did R&R Systems came out, let me find my stuff. Gave me some idea. They think that they can change over here without having to change the door, that they've got a kit that can actually work the upper and lower bars that release the door. It's going to take a little investigation on his part. He sent me some paperwork on it. I can pass that around here if you'll let me find it. It's these kits. He says it will go on a narrow style door, which we have. The frame's only about that wide. That'll give us a keypad entry. He didn't give me a price on it. He was supposed to send me some more information, and he didn't do that. But it'd be the price of the door alone. You're talking about $5,000 if you roughly $4,500 to $5,500 if you change the whole door out, which we thought we were going to have to do. But these guys from R&R think that they can get this retrofit kit that'll release those tumblers, and we can just put a keypad entry over there. Security cameras, kind of expensive. The only place in town now that does them is Bank Central, and I think they're like $4,400. Radio Shack can't do them. Got a call from the Oklahoma Department of Labor. You have to be licensed in Oklahoma, and they can't do that. So they had to withdraw there. So I don't know anybody else around that does a security camera.
How about ADT? They advertise all the time.
Yeah,
Or
but
ADT in town.
they'll cost us a monthly fee.
Right.
And
So,
How about game cameras? You can buy game cameras for $150. People sit out in the woods. Is there any reason we couldn't do something like
You can
that?
buy basic security cameras that link up to a computer that's running
Yeah.
right.
do
on
it.
a hard drive. I mean, it's
It's easy to do.
easy to do
cheap.
setup, yeah.
Yeah, I hope.
So I don't know why you have to have a license for that.
We do
I
it.
don't know, that's just what, I got a call from the Oklahoma Department of Labor, and then the guys came out immediately after that and said they had to do it while they're at it, so,
Okay.
don't know. But,
That done work.
like I said, I can get with R&R again and have them come back out, but they think they can get a kit, or we wouldn't have to change the door. We just put that program.
Do they have a cost idea on the kit?
Huh?
Do they have a cost idea on the kit?
No, he didn't even say that. He said, well, I'm gonna get you some more information and send it to you email, and then he
He said
never
that,
did.
I understand.
Got, Earl Harvey's working on an estimate for closing off the office with a slider. To me, I don't think we really need a slider. I got one estimate, from a guy in Partner that goes through a place in Wichita that will build a glass that will follow the edge of the countertop, the back edge, and it would look, it's kind of setting in a channel like a shower, like for a shower door, and then it'll attach to the wall. That's like $2,400. But I haven't got one back from Earl Harvey yet. I can't pronounce their last names. Bernie.
Monarchs.
He said, same thing, Friday, I'll have you an email by the end of close of business Friday, and I never got an estimate from him.
I know that my work recently with any of the local contractors has been a lot of phone calls and follow-up to try and get the information we need. And it's, I can't say one's any better than the other on that. I think they all have enough work that they're just staying busy, and so as soon as you can get one, that's almost what you do. I do believe that the Department of Labor does, I don't agree with it, but the DOL, the requirement is for licensed installers on camera systems.
Right.
The one that we put in at the homestead cost, of course, it was a bigger system, but it was 3 or 4 times that amount. It's, I don't know enough about it. I know enough about it to be dangerous, but not to get us the best deal that meets all the requirements.
Right. But I did get an estimate too from Mark Reed for both things, to close off the office, to order a new door with the keypad entry, which, like I said, if R&R can make this work without changing the door, and his total estimate, I think, is like $5,500 for the door, and
Installed?
no, that was the price. And then $2,500, and then like $800 to do out there. So, if I'm reading his estimate, his writing's not real good, but he didn't actually add up everything, I mean, as far as the total, so. And it just says glass, $800, it doesn't say with installation
Close
for
to
the closing off or
$8,000, yeah.
anything, so.
Yeah.
But, and I think that's what Jim down at Star told me about, you know, he said a new door's gonna be $4,500 to $5,500. So,
It's,
I'm all for trying R&R and seeing,
That'd be
at
good.
that rate is why we went with the box with the keypad on it, so the guys could get in the terminal
right,
instead of closing it off and putting it.
well, we can put a keypad right on the door, that'll,
Yeah, but that's why we went with the keypad, so you could get in and get the key to get in the building instead of.
Still accomplish the same thing without the cost.
The only thing it doesn't accomplish is locking behind you.
right.
It's the only thing it doesn't accomplish.
Okay, have you talked to them, see if they can modify the doors where the key will not unlock the latch, where it always latches back, and have a mechanism on the inside of the door where you can lock it where it'll open up every time? They have doors that do that.
No. I thought we were, I asked about the keypad entry, so that's all I talked to him about. And he says they can get this kit that you can put a keypad entry on it, key code entry.
I'd be interested to see what that kit costs. If it's not crazy, I think that'd probably be a better longer-term solution. Don't have to worry about losing keys and stuff like that.
And the lock right behind you, said, you know, he said they would modify the opposite push bar where you could unlock it during the day, you know. And he said, really, you don't have to, because that's what the push bar is, you know. But he said you can screw that down. But like I said, he didn't give me a price. He was supposed to send me more information, and he never did. But he says it can be, you can put a key code entry on that door that will lock behind you, so. I just didn't get all the information that I was promised by Friday or today, so. But he said it wouldn't, he said it should be, you know, okay by the, he said it's not a mag lock, and that's what the guy over in Enid said, don't. He said, I won't touch it if you're gonna do a mag lock, because they're the ones that are having problems with the Oklahoma State Fire Marshals Association. They don't want you use it. And he said, this is not a mag lock. So, and he said, should be able to get the kid to do it, put a keypad entry on the door. So,
You need a motion to table that?
There's lack of action.
Yeah.
No action at this time.
No,
So
okay.
we'll go on to the next item. Number 7, discussion and action to purchase airplane fuel from Ascent Aviation for an amount not to exceed $27,675.11.
Like I mentioned earlier, I mean, just with the price of fuel being what it is, when we fill our tanks, it costs more than the threshold for requiring approval. So that's why this agenda item's here. It'll go from us to city council. So that being the case, I move that we approve the purchase of airplane fuel from Ascent Aviation for an amount not to exceed $27,675.11.
The only question I have is that figure high enough, or do we need to, are we gonna do this every
Well,
time?
We have to do this every
Yeah,
time.
'cause I pay more.
We have to do this every time.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I've had to pay more than that even
Is it-
for more, so.
Is it
Yeah.
possible to make a motion to
I was,
exclude fuel from this limit?
Not by state statutes.
And our city ordinance,
And
city ordinance sets that limit.
are we in trouble if the price goes up above this amount?
No, we have to approve it every time we get a load of fuel that goes above
We've
25,000.
already got it.
Yeah,
Oh,
This was back.
So we've already ordered the fuel, this is just to pay the bill, so it doesn't
Right.
restrict us from buying fuel today if we think it's gonna go up tomorrow.
no, we'll just have to, we'll have to approve the
We just have to
increase.
purchase each time.
Yeah, we just have to approve it each time it's above 25,000.
Okay.
Second?
I got a motion and a second, call the roll, please.
Parker,
Yes.
Kinsey,
Yes.
Turner,
yes.
Mossberg,
Yes.
Logston.
Yes. Go on to item 8, remarks and inquiries by airport commission members.
Greg, when he talked about the short runway so many feet west, is that gonna, then are you gonna have a taxiway there, or how are they gonna get back to the ramp from the turf runway? They're gonna,
My understanding is that first cone can't be any closer than 290 foot. It has to
okay?
be 290 foot. I mean, you can go out there and taxi, I mean, you're gonna
Oh,
taxi
okay, we
right
can
off.
taxi any place you want to.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, they back taxi on 1836, but he just,
If it's an emergency overrun, or you landed to the east and you overrun that last little bit, then,
Okay.
you know, that's.
Well, I just wanted to make sure they didn't have a restriction on that too.
like I said, all this was before my time, and.
No, I'm just asking, that's
Yeah.
fine, I guess that's all I need to know.
But that's gonna make the runway actually shorter than the 1,906 feet that I wheeled it, and it's
There you go.
1,906 feet long from the west edge of 1836 to the very west edge of the turf runway.
Yeah.
So we just need to know how to publish that.
There's no, we can't go any further west, I guess.
No, we can.
We can't. Okay, 2,000 feet ought to be enough.
Yeah, there's more room to go west, yeah.
What do we,
If we decide that.
what do we do with Stillwater Photo?
That is our phone system, our computer maintenance.
Okay. I mean, I see it show up every now and then, I wasn't sure. I noticed we got a bill from, or we have encumbered an amount to Garver, what are they currently doing? Garver?
Say that again, Paul, I didn't.
I said, we have an amount that's currently encumbered with Garver, what are they doing?
They're not doing anything for us, that may be an amount.
I believe those are bills that we received from the stuff that they did at the tail end of our agreement with them. We have not paid them because we are trying to get all of our information sent over to the new engineering company. And so that's why it's still sitting out there, is because we are just trying to get a response, basically, from them.
That's the leverage we have, is this outstanding bill.
And I can call if you'd like tomorrow, I can pull those invoices and review what they're for. It's been a long time since I've looked at them, so I can't tell you specifically what they're for.
But that's the first one that's shown up in a while. I mean, you know, just going back to what, May of 2018, and we've done about $40,000. They billed us about $40,000, including this one.
Yes, and I think it's sat out there because we've been trying to get a response, but I wanted to finally get it
And
covered.
there's probably some reimbursement that we haven't got to pay for that too.
And that was my follow-up question, is that,
So there's probably some reimbursement that we need to request to help pay for those bills that we haven't made yet.
and then on the regular payment report that you have, where it says garnishments, what's that? It's a $5 fee, but it says, what's garnishment?
It's the fee that's associated with an employee has a garnishment on their check. We charge them a fee to withhold that garnishment, so.
Okay. I was just curious. No, it's fine, it says garnishment admin fee, and I wasn't sure what that was.
A couple of weeks ago, we were on the paper, talked about airport grant, the OAC, and it said we got one. Did I read that wrong? Have you heard anything on that grant that we were?
I have not been notified that we have received any grants from OAC. We're wrapping up some FAA grants. We've got some grant applications in, but I have not been notified of award of any OAC grants.
This was on the landfill, but I thought that money came from the FAA through the OAC, is that not correct?
I know the money we have received and we have requested it directly from FAA.
That's right.
Right.
I think, anyway, I was in the paper and never had heard anything about it.
No, I have not received any information about us getting an award of an OAC grant.
But, no, they published it in the paper, I think we all up.
I should have cut that out. It was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I read the same article, they were talking about area airports that had received grants. And the way it was written, you don't know if it was current or past grants.
Okay.
Now,
So it could
we've
be
received past
away.
grants from them, but it's been a while since we've received anything from them.
I thought surely we would have heard something.
Yeah, we would have had to accept the grant, there would have been a big old process to do it. I have not got any kind of a notice of award.
We should be hearing something on that, something like
We probably need to check with Toby on that. I don't know where that is in the legislative process, the big group, I have not heard anything on that recently.
Well, the way Wichita and Oklahoma City's going, they may have gotten it. Expansion there done.
Yeah.
But doesn't that get back to going clear back to the other engineering company?
Now, they've got access to our new engineers.
Yeah.
Okay. See,
And
It's confusing.
yeah, really.
Anything else by the airport, city inquiries by the airport commissioners? If not, we'll go to remarks and inquiries by citizens. Any citizen have anything? If not, we will adjourn this meeting.